Pennsylvania's state system of higher education. 14 universities, infinite opportunities. This week, we'll learn about the service opportunities available at universities throughout the state system. But first, we'll hear from Vincent Lopez, Student Government President at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and David Mazer, Vice Chair of the State System Board of Governors.
Hello, I'm Frank Brogan, the Chancellor of Pennsylvania's State System of Higher Education, and welcome to another installment of Infinite Opportunities, our opportunity to talk to you, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, about the remarkable things that are taking place on our 14 state university campuses all over the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, serving well over 100,000 students in undergraduate and degree-granting institutions. We're really delighted today to be able to have both a student of one of our state universities with us and a member of the Board of Governors, that is the overarching governance board of the state system of higher education in Pennsylvania. With us today is Vincent Lopez. Vincent is a double major in English and political science and has some aspirations toward the law. He is a student at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Welcome. We're glad to have you, Vincent.
Thank you. Thank you.
And from our Board of Governors, David Mazer. He is a Temple University School of Law graduate, did his undergrad at Penn State University and got a degree there in marketing, and serves on our Board of Governors and is not only a servant on the Board of Governors in that regard, but a very important and prominent part of our Board of Governors, therefore the system today. Gentlemen, welcome. We're delighted to have both of you.
Thank you, Chancellor.
And Vincent, I'm going to start with you in the little time that we have, and I want to talk from a student perspective. Oftentimes students are stereotyped as being engaged only in classroom and laboratory activities. Clearly, that's the heart and soul of what students do. It's the learning environment. But students are very busy beyond that, engaged within the university and the broader community. In your role as student body president, you must see an extraordinary amount of involvement on the part of students at IUP. Tell us about it.
Well, IUP is a very unique place. It has got a large number of students who are both international students and domestic. And we just most recently had our first student ever elected to the Indiana Borough Council. This is historical landmark. We've had 3 students try in the past, and he succeeded this time. Along with that, most of our students are very active in other organizations. We have over 300 organizations on campus. Students are always involved in something, regardless if it has to do with their major or not. Along with that, we as SGA, we do a lot of things off campus. We do a lot of highway cleanups, community building projects, volunteering at the gardens, and then working with our annual IUP cleanup during homecoming and the St. Patrick's Day celebrations. So we're heavily involved within the community.
Well, something I'd like both of you to chime in on in regards to advocacy on the part of our universities. Of course, a very important function that we serve is our relationship with the General Assembly. They provide us part of our very important educational funding and also set the laws in place that ultimately impact our state university system. Tell us a little bit first, Vincent, about Advocacy Day, and then I really want to hear from David about the role and the responsibilities that you think students have in the advocacy process.
Well, each spring we prepare for Advocacy Day with working with our students. Starting in the Student Senate, we have an Advocacy Ad Hoc Committee that works with myself and the administration of the university in preparations for the Advocacy Day in the early to mid-spring. We work primarily working on topics that are related to student success, student programming, educational funding, and really honing in on who IUP is and who the students are at IUP and what our needs are to our legislatures. So that's primarily what we do as a student perspective when it comes to Advocacy Day.
David, you have participated in Advocacy Day, but you've also watched the students and been around the students participating in Advocacy Day. From a governance standpoint, just how important is that relationship between students and General Assembly?
Well, it's the most important relationship. At the end of the day, the universities are here to serve the students. Our job is to connect the students as directly with the legislature and the governor's office so they see firsthand what kind of an impact their funding streams and their legislation has on the day-to-day lives of all of our students. There's probably nothing more important we do as a system than representing our students to the legislature.
No, it's a great point, and you can't overstate and overemphasize the importance of that. I have long said the best ambassadors for our state university system are the 100,000 students who go to our universities. It's an incredible relationship, and I have found that the members of the General Assembly want to hear from the students who attend these universities. Right now, of course, not only ourselves, but many across the country are continuing to face some difficult economic circumstances. What are the students at IUP doing, for example, Vincent, to help the university go through these tough economic times?
A lot of our students have been active on campus. A lot of students have been working off campus. Most of the students are very much coined into their education and staying focused on school. On working with the university, a lot of students have no problem going up to administration. They have an open door policy. They walk in and let them know what their issues are, and we figure out a way to work with them to move forward in a positive way.
David, the issue of funding, while it sounds mundane to many, it is mother's milk, and the importance of it. One of our responsibilities under Act 188 that put our system in place, set by the General Assembly, is not only to be accessible, but to be affordable and continue to be. In your role in a governance way, what are the difficult strain points for the Board of Governors in helping to keep this the affordable opportunity that it must be for our students?
The hardest decision every year is always setting tuition. We know how much money at some point the legislature is going to give us in a given year, and we know what the university's operating budgets are. Sadly, over the last few years, there has always been a gap, and there's only two ways to fill that gap. We can increase tuition, or we can cut at the university level. Unfortunately, we've been cutting at the university level for so many years, there's not a whole lot left to cut there. So unless we're ready to, close entire, faculty programs and do things of that sort of magnitude, we're really only left with asking our students to chip in more. Fortunately, a PASHE, education is still the most economical education you can get in the Commonwealth. So even though we've had to raise tuition a little bit every year for the last few years, it hasn't gone up so much, but it's a painful decision every year, and there are no easy answers, unfortunately.
Vincent, I know we're seeing more and more first-generation university students in our system, as is the rest of the country. So you add that difficulty in students who've never been at a university, whose families didn't attend a university, then you throw on the economic hardship of escalating tuition. It has to be difficult for a university these days to help those students cope.
Yes, I agree. And with the economical aspect to it, the one cool thing that Indiana does with our universities, we have regional campuses, and most famously is our Punxsutawney campus, which tends to be most of the first-year students who are coming in, first-time generation college students, and they really get acclimated to the college environment. It's more they go there and get a walkthrough on how to go through the life of college and working with their families to ensure that they'll be able to make it through. Also with that, it's a way that we provide scholarship funding for our students and academic mentorship and things of that nature to make them successful when they come to the Indiana campus.
Well, I watch the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania deal with the economic difficulties, but at the same time, we have no choice but to continue to soldier forward, putting in place new programs. And we've done a lot of extensive work as we've worked together on adding new academic programs that meet the needs of the 21st century, and at the same time keeping the traditional programs that continue to be bedrock in that regard. David, some of the work we've done with the Board of Governors, you and your colleagues, has been remarkable in looking at each individual new program application and determining which ones will get put into play and which ones won't. You want to talk a little bit about that exercise? Sure.
We are, programs are brought to our attention by the universities. It's a bottom-up process. They have something that they think will be viable in their space. They have to do a lot of legwork, and I can't tell you how many countless hours go in between the universities and our staff at the Dixon Center to vet these programs, to make sure there's a market for these programs, to make sure that at the end of the day, students graduating these programs will find jobs, because that, at the end of the day, is one of the most important things we're trying to accomplish, is to get our students out the back end. And then finally, when all of that work is done, it's presented to the board, final presentations are made. We only bring on programs that we know have the best chance of success. Does that mean 100% of the time it'll work out? Of course not. But it does mean that we've done everything we can do from a due diligence perspective to make sure that there's a need for the program and that there's an opportunity for those entering the program to truly succeed after they graduate.
Well, we are certainly delighted that the two of you took time from your busy schedules to be a part of our program. We believed it was important that viewers have the chance not only to hear from a student. David said it earlier, the students are what we do. This is the most important part of the venture of the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Ed, but also, David, to have the opportunity to see someone who is living a great quality of life in part because of what he took away from university experience during your lifetime. And we are very pleased and proud that both of you are here today and also make great role models for those who are aspiring to be a part of our state university system at some point. Thank you for your contribution, Vincent, as a student, but as a student leader. And thank you, David, for your contribution as a leader of one of the finest state university systems in America. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor.
Coming up next, explore more opportunities offered at the universities in Pennsylvania's state system of higher education.
What is a warrior? At East Stroudsburg University, it's someone who rises above the rest. A warrior is knowledgeable, a critical thinker, a planner, a designer, an engineer, an artist, a writer, and a leader. A warrior is someone who is strong, adventurous, and engaged in their surroundings. You could be a warrior. Join us at East Stroudsburg University and get an outstanding, affordable, accessible education coupled with real-world experiences such as internships, clinical assignments, community service, and student teaching. There's also ESU's Innovation Center, which offers students entrepreneurial opportunities that extend well beyond ESU's campus into the regional, national, and global markets. Why wait? Check out ESU's nearly 60 undergraduate programs and more than 20 graduate degree programs, and learn why being a warrior is so much more than you'd ever imagine. Call us today to set up an appointment with an admissions counselor or to take a tour. Make East Stroudsburg University your first choice and catch the warrior spirit today.
Welcome back to Infinite Opportunities. Next, we go to Slippery Rock University to find out how students embrace the concept of helping yourself by helping others.
We're the only Western Pennsylvania school that offers nonprofit as a study. Definitely something to be proud about.
I think our goal here at Slippery Rock is to not only educate the student on an academic level, but also really expand their knowledge base in terms of their out-of-classroom experiences to really promote leadership development while they're here. Our entire vision and mission is to create those transformative experiences.
The nonprofits that we approach want our students, because when the students send a resume, it says, I've taken a course in philanthropy and fundraising. I've taken a course in Introduction to Nonprofit Management. They understand, if you will, the front of the house and the back of the house.
By learning the ins and outs of a nonprofit, I know the backbone of the nonprofit and how that nonprofit is surviving. I know the many different areas of a nonprofit that I can make a living in. Whether it be the financial side, the management side, the board structure. I kind of really broadened my idea of what a nonprofit is through my classes.
The students in my class will tell you that it's rigorous. There are very high expectations. I tell them from the beginning, the clients and the people and the causes that you're working for deserve the best and the brightest. There are variables that you can't control, and you have to still figure out, as I say to them, figure out how to feed the babies.
Seeing the workload that you have to put in for school alone is a lot, and then having work on top of that or other extracurricular activities plays a large part in skill building. It's a lot of time management, a lot of extra time you're going to have to put in general, so it makes me work harder in the classroom and outside of school to do the best that I can every day.
So the economic impact of service is very substantial. It was over $1.5 million last year of our students through the service hours that they participated in. It had such an impact on our local communities.
So far this year, we volunteered in Pittsburgh at the Great Race, so we helped do the finish line water stations. We also are going to the Grove City Salvation Army next week actually and helping out there. And then next semester is our big event of the year called Color the Rock. It's a color run we put on, and the proceeds toward that goes to our scholarship fund. And every year it showcases a faculty member. Last year it was in honor of a faculty member who is battling breast cancer.
We do have students that participate in a variety of activities, and it can be anything from helping internationally going into a school and helping educate or provide programs within a school.
And so once they realize that they have the power to make a difference, that sort of becomes addictive in some way, because they're just hungrier and hungrier and hungrier to learn and to practice what they're learning.
When I first started, it's like I'd never considered wanting to be top management. But now, instead of just getting that paycheck, that pay raise, now I see that we have clients. I want to be able to help those clients.
Probably the best part of my job, watching them develop in ways that I think they never realized were possible.
Going out into the community, whether it's Slippery Rock or we go to Pittsburgh a lot, and helping the community out, it's really rewarding in itself, because you know that you get that feeling that you're helping others.
Growing up and knowing that the golden rule was to treat others as you would like to be treated yourself has played a large part. I definitely want to continue to impact people in my life.
The way I think has changed. It's like because now I'm thinking about more than what I want. I'm thinking about how I'm going to help an organization grow. How am I going to help someone with special needs? How am I going to get through the week? What's going to go on in a month, in a year? It's like I'm thinking further ahead. So yeah, I've definitely changed.
Welcome back to Infinite Opportunities. Next, we go to Bloomsburg University to see how students give back to their community through a special affiliation with a national charity.
Basically, I got involved with Student United Way because of Emily O'Shea. She was the previous president of Student United Way, and I was walking and I seen them in the room. And then I went in, and then we just started talking. You know, they wanted members and stuff like that. So I saw it as a great opportunity for me to get involved, even though I was already involved, but I felt as though being a part of Student United Way was just one of those things, because I'm a service guy and I like giving back. Well, the things that I do, I tutor in Reading 1 to help them get their fluency up and stuff like that, and build that connection with them, get them involved with Student United Way, and so they can get that service and get those good volunteer opportunities. There's only 2 Student United Ways in Pennsylvania, and we're actually connected with Penn State Student United Way. We try to keep that network over there and stuff like that, just to let us know what's working and what's not working. And also, when you're the president of Student United Way, you're automatically basically a trustee for United Way Columbia County, in which we try to have activities and stuff like that, working with people that have different outlets to different companies and stuff like that. The second annual turkey trot we raised over $2,000, and that's a great feeling. You should join Student United Way, because you would definitely be put in a position where you can help others and build your own personal character, your integrity and stuff like that. Most of the people who get in positions is through volunteering and giving back and advocating and stuff like that, and helping raise money. So that's the main thing I want to stress. Being involved in the community of Bloomsburg is very small. People are very nice, very embracing. It's not doing it for a resume. It's one of those things where I'm a service guy. Like, I like giving back to the community, like tutoring. I like interacting with different people. Just one of those things that makes you a good person.
We don't just teach. We inspire. We don't push you to your limit. We obliterate celebrating 150 years.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one who makes a longer-lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star, and who can change the world of a fifth grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
Welcome back to Infinite Opportunities. Next, we go to Shippensburg University to discover how students provide service through various programs to discover the deeper meaning of service.
A living learning community at Shippensburg is a special community within residence halls, and they're just places where you are not only living and learning with people, but you have a specific purpose.
The LLC Engaging Service Through Action focuses on 3 particular outreach points: the campus farm, the Shippensburg Produce and Outreach, also known as SPO, as well as the Food Recovery Network. Each one of the networks has a direct impact to our campus and then links into community partnerships.
Working with a living learning community, specifically the Engaging Service Through Action LLC, has really opened my eyes to the different problems that even small communities face.
The Shippensburg University LLC focuses on SPO on Tuesdays, where we have the opportunity to go into the organization, whether it's helping sort fruits and vegetables, work with community members to receive their produce, or work directly with our really fantastic AmeriCorps Vista.
I am an AmeriCorps Vista member, and Vista stands for Volunteer in Service to America. So what we do is we're placed with nonprofits and communities, helping to build capacity, make those organizations stronger. I help connect students to volunteer opportunities, help them to learn more about the groups that I work with, and help them get involved.
I love putting a smile on people's faces, and if I know that I am making their lives better and making sure that they're happy and healthy.
Service to me means simply giving back and giving your time. I think that's one of the most important things, and one of the most selfless things you can give is your time. And I think that's basically what service means to me, just being somebody that is a resource and somebody that's available.
For me, it's a unique experience to see my students want to give back to the community and then make the connection as to why, when they grow both personally, professionally, on and off campus, why it's such a pivotal point when they graduate. I find that my students give back to the community more frequently. There's a deeper sense of connection. Specifically when I was an employer, seeing them truly live out not only their role in a company, but their role within the community. They're walking billboards.
We have wonderful students that come and help us to be volunteers for Shippensburg Produce and Outreach. They're really, really great with our clients too. Our clients look forward to seeing our students and interacting with them and talking with them.
The students willingly give up their time. They committed themselves to an opportunity to give back, both to the campus and to the community.
I was a undergraduate social work major, graduating in May of 2015. I learned what I was doing in the classroom was what I was going to be seeing in the community. I really have this mentality that, service is a huge part of my life. That led me to becoming a Vista member. This is a great opportunity for me to give back to the Shippensburg community that I think has given so much to me and to other students.
And what I find unique is that's not at every campus. It's a part of the culture that allows our students to feel not only engaged, but committed, but truly to be ambassadors of goodwill. We all have an opportunity to be active members of our community, and we each play a part in it.
Focus on success. Since 1837, Cheyney University has been preparing thousands of young men and women to become successful leaders in the fields of business, arts and science, education, and professional studies. At Cheyney University, you'll not only receive an affordable, quality college education, but the attention you deserve from faculty who care about you and your success. Focus on success at Cheyney University.
Welcome back to Infinite Opportunities. Next, we go to California University of Pennsylvania to see how state system universities serve students and how those students go on to serve others.
Welcome to California University. In the Office of Academic Success, it's our desire that every student who attends California University succeeds academically. If students ask for help, we provide services such as a math lab, a writing center, tutoring, a scheduling center to help students make sure they're taking the right classes.
We have 2 courses for first-year students, First-Year Seminar and Intro to University Studies. These courses are great for first-year students because they provide a foundation for them, teaching them such things as time management skills and study skills.
I give tours here on campus, and I always make sure I point out the math lab, the writing center, and the scheduling center, because those are 3 fantastic resources that we have. The scheduling center helped me see what classes I needed to take in order and what all the prerequisites were, and gave me a suggested track for the next 4 years.
At California University, our 4-year graduation rates are steadily climbing because it's our desire with our 4-year graduation plan that students graduate in 4 years and no more.
The 4-year graduation plan is CalU's commitment to keeping college affordable.
You're spending money in school when in reality you could be making money in your field of choice. What the 4-year grad program does is to make sure that you get every class that you need to get. They make sure that you have priority registration. In shorter terms, it gives you a blueprint.
At California University, we have also begun to develop learning communities for incoming students. We allow students to take 3 or 4 classes together so that they can learn to study with each other, connect with other students, and ultimately be successful academically.
And what's great about this program is these students take the same courses together, so they get to know each other. So by the end of their freshman year, they've made really good friends with students within their academic major. With the peer mentoring program, students volunteer to assist freshmen with the transition to the university. These students are in the same academic major, but also in addition to that, they're their more or less first friend on campus.
I didn't know anyone coming into Cal, so it was a nice way to know that somebody was out there looking out for me. In the first week of school, she showed me around campus to all the classes that I had, and what I really liked about her was that she helped me outside of the classroom. She taught me how to meet new friends, and she taught me where to hang out.
When we match our mentors and our proteges together, we look at their hobbies, where they came from, their majors. Parents should be comforted in knowing that they're getting an upperclassman who is kind, caring, and knowledgeable to entrust their freshmen to.
Alpha Lambda Delta is a freshman honor society. And what's great about this society is they give out scholarship money. Over the past 5 years, our students have won over $23,000 worth of scholarships.
One of the greatest things about Alpha Lambda Delta is we help you build a career advantage. In other words, we help you get a job. You build professional relationships, networking skills, organizational skills, leadership skills. These are all things that employers are looking for.
CalU is definitely committed to student success. Here at CalU, I feel like they've helped me in so many ways, whether it's from mentoring to the 4-year grad plan.
I tell students I meet with, I can't wait to see you walk across the stage at graduation and receive your diploma.
Come back next week to learn more of the infinite opportunities at the state system's 14 universities, or visit us online